You're listening to Flip Empire, the show committed to helping real estate entrepreneurs who want to build their empire without sacrificing their life. Your success and freedom starts now with your host, Alex Pardo.
I just finished celebrating the 6-year anniversary of the Flip Empire show, and I celebrated it with you guys in mind because there is no way possible I would be here 6 years later, consistently recording 2 episodes a week if it weren't for you and for the support. Whether you've left a rating or review or not, whether you're a subscriber or not, this is your first time listening to the show, or if you're just a crazy person who has listened to all 629 of them, including this one, either way, just a huge debt of gratitude for supporting the show. If you have not had an opportunity to check out episode 628, which was released on the 6-year anniversary of the Flip Empire show, definitely want to encourage you to check that out. Got a lot of great feedback. I talk about why I turned down an offer for $1 million more for our storage facility than we paid for it 9 months ago. So if you want to kind of hear the ins and outs of that, definitely want to encourage you to check that out, episode 628. So with that being said, I want to hop right into today's episode, and I want to talk about, so a good friend of mine, Brian Tripp, reached out to me and last week invited me to be on a panel of other experts talking about the market conditions. Now, I wasn't able to be on it. In fact, I wasn't able to connect with them until after the event happened because it was my date night, but I had an opportunity to watch that and I had a lot of friends on that panel, and I was grateful to even be considered. And I want to kind of just share my thoughts, not so much about what the market is going to do in the next 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 months, because the truth of the matter is, and you've heard this before, right? Nobody's got that crystal ball that can tell you exactly what's going to happen. Having said that, one of the things I love about real estate is that it's not the stock market. It's not crypto where it can go up or down, huge swings in the course of a day. You can, generally speaking, you can read the tea leaves by looking at the data of the past. Now, having said that, that was kind of one of the themes of that particular call that my friend Brian hosted. My friend Mark Evans was on there, and he always says data, not drama. And in fact, there were some people that were just throwing out some numbers and showing a lot of data. And you may be one that really leans into that kind of stuff. You're very analytical. And then there's others kind of like Mark that they don't necessarily look at that and even fully understand it. And he admitted that. But understanding the data is important. I'm a Los Angeles Lakers fan, and they just introduced Darvin Ham as the new coach. And in his press conference, he said facts over feelings. And that kind of hit me between the eyes because it kind of ties into that whole data, not drama thing. And whether you're analytical and you fully understand all the data or not, it's important that you stay in your lane. It's important that you focus and leverage your skill sets. And it's important that you guard the most expensive, valuable real estate that you could ever own in your life. And another friend of mine, Joe Evangelisti, said that's the real estate between your ears. And unfortunately, I feel that there's people that listen to calls like that, the state of the market, and they walk away feeling discouraged and being fearful of taking any type of action, of moving forward, because the uncertainty of the market, instead of being fearless and being encouraged by the fact that the market will change. And, wealth is not gain or lost. It transfers hands, right? In that live, there was a lot of reference to the 2008 crash. Back then, money was tight. I don't think if we do see a crash, I don't think it's going to be anything like 2008. Now money's abundant, money's prevalent. And deals are tougher to come by, generally speaking, regardless of asset class. But I want you guys to be aware of the data. I want you to keep an eye on what's happening in your local markets, understanding big picture, macro, what's going on. But I also don't want you to retreat and be fearful. I want you to be fearless, and I want you to have confidence of moving forward because you're leaning into your God-given abilities, your talents, your strengths, and understanding, having awareness of what that is and really leaning into it. I also want to make a point about one of the reasons I'm confident going forward with my storage business or with some of the deals that I lend money on is because I'm getting involved in deals where I'm never trying to fit a square into a circle. Right? The deals that I'm getting involved in, I feel confident, have multiple exit strategies. And at the end of the day, I'm getting involved in deals that produce cash flow. So even if there was a market downturn, I know the deal will spit off cash flow. Just episode 628, I talked about one of the reasons my partner and I decided to turn down the offer for $1 million more than what we paid for it is because we felt like there was a lot more meat on that bone. And we felt that even if there was a market downturn and our numbers at 85 or 90% occupancy would have proven out to have made the facility worth around $4 million at a 7 cap, even if we were dead wrong and our occupancy was at 70 or 75% wrong, we were still positive cash flow by like a ton. And that was very encouraging, right? So you want to underwrite and you want to make sure that there's multiple exit strategies in the deals that you get involved in. And you don't want to necessarily get involved in deals under the best case scenario assumption. In fact, I just got off a call with one of our Ascend members who's looking at a deal. And, one of the things I encouraged him to do is after we looked at the current numbers, the pro forma numbers, I said, I'd love to see a side by side. I want to see the current numbers. I want to see worst case scenario numbers. And then I want to see most likely. So in other words, when I underwrite storage facilities, I look at what's the worst case, what's the best case, and what's the most likely case. Of course, I'm looking at the current numbers, but more importantly is like, where do I think I can take this facility from where it's at today to where it can go and in what amount of time? The other thing that I look at is I don't just look at ROI. I don't just look at my internal rate of return and all these financial metrics, which are important, but I'm looking at the time, energy, and headache factor. I'm looking at what I have to put in to get X. And is that the opportunity cost of getting involved here? Does it make sense, right? Or could I put my money, could I put my time, energy, attention, other resources into this? And maybe I'm not earning as high a return, but I'm also not nearly spending as much time. So these are all different things that I look at. And I really want to encourage you, to always buy wholesale at wholesale prices or wholesale terms, right? Because it's the classic, like your price, my terms, or vice versa. But you always want to be buying wholesale, right? And you want to get involved in deals in which you can exit by selling and making a big profit. You can hold because it cash flows. You can refi. There's so many different ways you can slice and dice these deals. And I want you guys pulling the triggers on deals that you are confident have multiple exit strategies, that cash flow, deals that you could force appreciation through the value add, right? And I look for simple value add where I could just raise rents. In our storage facilities, I can implement marketing. I can implement our systems. I can get the right team in place. That's where I kind of shine. That's my skill set and my strengths. I don't come from a construction background, and God bless the people that do. We're still not done rehabbing our house. And I just realized how much I don't like it. And so that's not the skill set I bring to the table. So I'm not looking for facilities that it's going to take 12, 24, 36 months before I can get them up and running. In fact, I just had a storage developer contact me today. A good friend of mine put me in contact with him, and this guy has developed some of the larger storage facilities in the South Florida area, and he's looking for land in which to develop. And he heard about me and kind of vetted me, and he said, hey, I'm looking for somebody who can find the opportunities and I can take care of all the construction. It doesn't seem like it's a fit based on his goals in mind, but those are the kind of partnerships and joint ventures you want to get involved in, where somebody is bringing a skill set of value to the table that either you don't have or that you don't necessarily want to lean into. So I'm not looking for ground up development opportunities. I'm not looking for massive turnarounds and value adds where, it requires a bunch of CapEx and I'm at 6% occupancy and I got to get this thing all the way up to 90% occupancy and it's going to take 1 year to 2 years to fill it up. Those are not the type of deals I'm looking for. So if there's anything you can draw from this episode is don't be fearful of the uncertainty of the market. Try to understand the data. It's so important that you are plugged into the right communities and masterminds because you can stay ahead of the curve. You can download the brain power and knowledge and experience of others who have been through multiple market cycles. I can call my coach who has been through 3 different market cycles. I can pick up the phone and call any one of our Ascend members. Our Ascend members can call me, myself, and Steve and others, and we can have these types of conversations. In fact, if you're listening to this on the day it's released, I'm actually traveling to Nashville again, second time in Nashville this year, where I'm going to be at a mastermind. And then next week, we're traveling to Punta Cana for our Ascend mastermind retreat. And we're going to have a panel conversation around the market. and how to position yourself and your business to thrive regardless of what the market does. So make sure that you're plugged into the right communities. Shameful plug for Ascend, because myself and Steve run it, so I know how much we put into it as far as our heart, our energy, our effort. I know the quality of our members. So if you want to connect with us on that, ascendyoursuccess.com. But outside of that, just make sure you find the right community. Make sure you find the right people that are going to walk alongside you, people that have been in the business you're in or the business that you're looking to get into for a number of years, have a proven track record, and genuinely want to pour into you and want to see you win and succeed. And it's not just a business for them. So that's just one thing I want to share with you. And then again, understand what's a deal for you. Make sure there's multiple exit strategies and get involved. When you get involved in deals that cash flow, even worst case scenario, it's going to be hard for you to get burned on deals like that. Don't overextend yourself, obviously. Be wise, be smart, but don't go the other way in which nothing's a deal because you're so conservative when you look at it, right? And I always like to look at deals. Hey, what's the current? What's the worst case situation? What's the best case situation? And then what's the most likely? And worst case, can I live with that? And if that does happen, what's my plan moving forward? Right? Having an action plan will give you that confidence. What's the most likely scenario? And does that work for me? Not just from an ROI perspective, but based on the time, the energy, the resources, the headache factor. Take all these things into consideration. Don't just make your decisions based on dollars and cents, because there's other variables that you really need to consider. So hopefully this is landing with you. I trust it will. If not, I'm happy to have a conversation offline or expound upon this on future episodes. But again, 6 years into this journey, I'm not sure what lies ahead. I do know that I've had some conversations with other guest experts who are going to be doing a takeover show. And I've gotten some good feedback on that and just having some fun with that process. So still kind of tinkering and toying and thinking through reshaping and rethinking the Flip Empire show. It may or may not consist of 2 episodes a week. But for right now, I am enjoying it, and I want to continue to pour into you through this platform. So anything I can do, reach out to me. If you come across any storage facilities or any opportunities that you want to get involved, alex@flipempire.com would be a great way to connect with me. Outside of that, I just appreciate you taking the time, and I'll be into the Dominican Republic next week, so I'm sure we're connected on social. And outside of that, I look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a great one. One last thing before you go. If you have been listening to the show for a while and or you have been getting value from the show, I would be 100% honored if you would share this show with a friend, or maybe share it with somebody that you think could benefit from this. It's my mission, it's my cause, it's my purpose through Flip Empire to impact and touch people's lives, to help people and in their businesses. So it would be an honor if you would be willing to share this episode. And one last thing, make sure that you're subscribed so that you get notified every Monday and Thursday when shows get released. I look forward to connecting with you on the next one. Until then, have a great day.